Do you know exactly how many services AWS provides? No? Well, apparently there are more than 200 services. Holy cow, I can only wonder how they manage to provide all of them through the cloud. Hi, I'm Adal, and I'm a software and data engineer. Let's talk about Amazon Web Services infrastructure and how it is integrated. AWS infrastructure is global, so applications and data can be deployed in multiple physical locations around the world. This leads to the following benefits. It is highly available. Most of the services provide a 99.99% of service continuity. Fault tolerant, meaning the applications and services will recover quickly or avoid failure most of the times. Provides reduced latency. As a result, your customers will access data and services faster. Improve user experience. With a couple of clicks, you can set up a whole infrastructure, no sweat. Compliance. If you require your data or application to fulfill some laws or regulations based on the country and region where it's going to serve your public, you can set the infrastructure in such a way to do so. Finally, price. Certain regions' infrastructure and services will vary in price, and you can adjust based on your budget. Let me show you a more graphical way how the AWS infrastructure works. First, it is built around regions, and currently there are 32 launch regions worldwide. Then, each region has availability zones. There are around 102 availability zones total. Finally, in cases where your customers are not near the region you have selected, there are edge locations. AWS has a global edge network with more than 400 regional edge locations cached for providing low latency access when required. Let's get into details for each one, shall we? AWS regions are geographic locations worldwide where AWS hosts data centers. Each location is associated with a geographical name. For example, US East Ohio, and then a region code. In the same sample, it will be US East 2. When deciding what region to use, think about the following 4 considerations. First, compliance. As I mentioned before, if you have restrictions or regulations to follow, select a region that adjusts them. Second, latency. Select the region that is closer to your customers, or at least the most part of them. That will reduce the response time of your application. Later, you can use edge locations for improving the latency of those far from that region. More on that in the next slides. Third, service availability. Some regions receive updates and services before than others. If you know which services you are going to use, check if those are available in the region you are selecting. Finally, price. Cut on cost by selecting a region that fits the amount of money you can spend in the services you are going to use. Try to follow the same order presented here when selecting a region. Usually, that's the priority on which you should base your decision. Next element of the AWS infrastructure are the availability zones, or AZs. Each region has a cluster of availability zones. Each of one consists of one or more data centers with redundant power, networking, and connectivity. These are undisclosed locations connect using redundant high-speed and low-latency links. Let's see the AZs in action and why they are so important. Imagine you select the US East Ohio region for storing your data and applications. This region has 3 availability zones distributed across the region. As I mentioned before, they are interconnected between each other. Then, for some reason, a flood, an earthquake, or a meteorite striking the city, the second availability zone goes down. Thankfully, the other 2 are still operational. The data is back up and your application is still running. That is the importance of the availability zones. By the way, the ACs also have code names. For example, US East 2A, US East 2B, and US East 2C will represent our previous example in Ohio. Finally, our third main component in the AWS infrastructure are the edge locations. These are global locations where content is cached, usually known as a Content Delivery Network or CDN. This will allow the customers to access the data more quickly. Let's see an example. In this case, we have an S3 bucket providing high-resolution images for our website. We notice there is a spike in customers coming from South America, and we want to improve our website response time over there. Using an edge location, we can transfer and cache a copy of our high-resolution images over there. And as a result, our customers in South America have a low latency when browsing our website. By the way, did you notice the blue point in the map? As you can imagine, that's where I'm located. So, pura vida from Costa Rica. Return to our edge example from before. The main service for this purpose is called Amazon CloudFront, and it oversees delivering the content through the edge locations. There are also other services that rely on the edge locations. For example, Amazon Route 53 will provide a DNS web service to route users to the infrastructure in the edge locations, and AWS Outpost that offers the same AWS infrastructure and services on premises data centers. Thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. And if you also want to share your location with me, please leave it in the comment section. Also, here is my next video in the series of AWS Fundamentals. Enjoy it!